So we've talked a lot about housing, talked a lot about the fact that, affordable housing, social housing, and everything else, and complained, and I think it's fair to say complained, about the
Yeah.
fact that not enough is being done. I know the mayor's talked about this. There was a big press conference literally just a couple of days ago about a place opening up actually in the village. But then one of the interesting places in the city I've never quite understood what is supposed to happen there, and that's around Shaughnessy Village. If you look at Atwater just below St. Catherine now, right? So you
hmm
have that little area where the park was, and they've set up something in there.
It's
Across the
kind of,
street from that is the most giant apartment condo building you could ever imagine, which
yes.
seems to me like I don't know who said yes to this idea, but approving it right in the middle of Shaughnessy Village just seems so out of place. But the good news is something that will be working is going up, and we have the developers here. His name is Adrian Rocca. The company's called Fitzrovia, and you're developing something, Adrian, in this area. So this is what, 200 and some odd apartments. Who is this? I mean, who's going to be living here? What's the plan?
Yeah, so just to be clear, so Adrian Rocca, CEO and founder of Fitzrovia. So we're based in Toronto. We just opened up an office in Montreal. So really proud to be in the Montreal market. It's a city that I love and is near and dear to me.
Well, are you
Uh,
are you from here originally or from Toronto?
I'm from Toronto,
Oh,
but
okay.
we have an office that is there with Montrealers. We're kind of born and bred in the city.
Okay.
So as it relates to that project in particular, so it is not brand new development, but what we are going to do is come up with a comprehensive renovation strategy. We want to beautify the exterior. The windows need to be all replaced. The ground floor podium needs to be completely repositioned and redesigned. And then we are going to renew and refurbish all the common areas. So new amenities, new lobby experiences, upgrade all the suites as they come up and are vacant. And then some of the building systems need upgrading as well.
So where exactly in Shaughnessy Village is this building that you're going to be fixing up or
So
renovating?
it's right on Dorchester Street. So Place Dorchester is what it's called.
Place Dorchester.
It's right
Okay. I'm
before
trying
it
to locate
becomes
this.
René Lévesque. It's got to be right. Oh, me too. I can't
So
quite
that would have to
picture.
be the corner just a little bit west of Atwater because
That,
it's
that
Dorchester on that side, it's René Lévesque on the other.
yeah,
Okay.
that's exactly it.
Okay. So I'm wondering, too, as I said when we started the conversation here, the city's taken its share of knocks against housing. How difficult was it to get this project done? And did you face a lot of what we hear about, which is red tape from the city to actually be able to go ahead and do this?
So we've just started that process of what we call design development work. So we view it going to be no different than how we've operated in the city of Toronto. We're long-term neighbors. We're not merchant builders. We just focus on purposeful rental housing. We don't do any for-sale condo work. And so we really pride ourselves on great relationships with the city. I'd say thus far, early days, that relationship has been very strong. They've been very open to working with us. They seem to like some of our ideas around kind of repositioning that asset and some of the design development work that's really required there. And so, I'd say early days, but I'm not concerned about our ability to work effectively with the city.
Oh, that's good to hear.
That's
I
encouraging.
mean, we're skeptical because there's a history of things being incredibly difficult to get done here, and then them not turning out to complete the original intention, if you will. I'm trying to be diplomatic in how I say that, but I know you've completed two successful projects like this in Toronto already.
We've actually are Canada's largest purposeful rental developer. So we have 8,500 units, about $9 billion of assets under management, principally in around the Greater Toronto area and now Montreal. So we've completed 8 residential towers in Toronto and another 7 that are completing over the course of the next kind of 12 to 15 months. And so feel very, passionately about, our program and the quality of what we build and think it lends itself really well to the Montreal market.
Are there people living in this building already? Where are the residents that were there, or are they still there?
They're still there. So we are, residents for us are everything to our business model. We prioritize open, transparent, two-way communication with our residents. So they are actively occupying the building, and so that work will go with them in place, and we will do that working hand in hand with those residents to make sure that the building is also looked after.
So we're talking about roughly 200 and some odd apartments here. And when this is all done, basically the people already there are staying there. It's not as if we're making more rental units available, right?
That's right. We do plan on developing in Montreal as well. The idea is to continue to build out our infrastructure and put boots on the ground in that market. Start with repositioning older product, but there's a couple very large land parcels that we're also looking to take over and develop in due time.
So the goal here ultimately is to take a building that needs, I mean, you're preserving and enhancing an already existing building.
That's bang on. That's well said.
Okay.
How many other, I mean, if you're moving into Montreal, there's a soft spot here perhaps coming back to the city. How many buildings like that have you done basically a survey of some kind to suggest how many other projects you might be looking at in the city?
I bet there's a lot in Montreal that could use some fixing up.
Yeah, it's a very, very deep defined, kind of asset class. There's a lot of rental product. It's the biggest rental market in the country, as you guys know, and so there's lots of buildings that fit that profile. But if that's just one element, we're also, like I said, want to get into ground up development, build brand new product. We will also look at building affordable rental product with the CMHC back program as well. So this is really just step one in terms of building out our infrastructure in Montreal.
Okay. Well, I've got a suggestion. I'm sure you're going to love this, but we have a problem in Montreal with a lot of vacant buildings that are actually already owned by the city and are sitting there languishing. And as you know, we have a housing crisis, not just here, but across Canada. But it's particular in some of these areas where these houses are sitting vacant. Is there any possibility, since you seem to have a good relationship with the city, that you could do something with some of those vacant buildings?
Yeah, we would love to have those conversations with the city. As and when they're willing to entertain it. We have had a lot of successful conversations in Toronto with the city and finding ways to incorporate our platform to helping achieve their housing needs. And love to do the same in Montreal.
I'm curious, as you describe this, Adrian, this idea, to Natasha's point, we have a housing shortage here. We hear over and over and over again, we can't build them fast enough. You had a federal government that pledges to be able to do what it can. When did your company start, and what was sort of the motivation to get into this business?
Yeah, it's a great question. We incorporated 6.5 years ago. And so in that short period of time, we became Canada's largest rental developer. I'm very passionate about purpose-built rental and the sector. Not only I think it's our civic duty to help any Canadian that's looking to live and doesn't need or doesn't feel obligated to buy. And I would also say the quality of the product that's been built in Canada for a long time, we think, could have been absolutely enhanced. And so I've spent a lot of time over in Europe and down in the U.S. and brought a lot of those, design concepts and kind of animation around, how do we incentivize the community to work together and live together and create really strong bonds and friendships. And thus far, every time we've opened up a building in Toronto, that business case has really proven out really well. We have a partnership with Disney. We have a partnership with the Ritz-Carlton. So all of our on-site staff get trained by those two great organizations. We have a full-time lifestyle manager on staff. So we do 1 to 2 resident events per week. This building a really strong sense of community is everything to us.
It's funny as I hear you describe this in the building you're doing in Montreal. So as I said, roughly 200 units in there, people already living in there. Typically we hear stories when there are evictions or renovations from people who say, wait a sec, I was treated badly. They're not taking me seriously. You're making it sound like this was an easy sort of call and everyone will be happy here. Was it?
It is definitely not an easy call. And look, we have similar, headlines in Toronto as well. The industry certainly does. We definitely want to operate very, very differently. This is a long-term, kind of outlook for us. This is a long-term investment in the communities that we operate in. So we have zero desire and, have a firm, kind of motto at our company. We will not rent evict at all. Residents and resident experience is everything to us as and when, they get at their inflection point where they need to, they want to move out and that's totally their desire. Then, we will look at enhancing that unit if it makes sense. But otherwise, we want them to have a great experience in our building.
I'm trying to understand how that's financially viable.
Yeah, it's really just having a long-term view, having the right cost of capital. It's, as and when, you do get units back, you could readjust those to market and it's a better quality building. But otherwise, if people are happy to live there, we want them to really enjoy that experience. We have a lot of case studies in Montreal that in the same space, so older apartments, where it's, change of management, we've come in and the resident feedback has been outstanding.
Good for you. Hey, listen, anytime there's more housing available and there are more people who can take advantage of it in any city, and obviously here, it's nice to hear. The company is called Fitzrovia, as you said, and look forward to seeing more of you here in Montreal. Thanks so much for the time today.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, guys.
All right.